changing things up a little bit today. I want to talk about the light bulb moment I had when I figured out what I was doing wrong and why my books kept getting rejected all the time. I thought I had plot figured out until I made this one little tweak. That changed everything and turned my book from just something that was flat and boring and rejectable into something that was engaging and that sold well and did well. So I got out the whiteboard, and I gotta warn you guys, I write like crap, but I thought it would be kind of fun. Just as a little side note, I have this little number here in the board. That is from the half Ironman I did in 2018. And yes, I know it was 8 years ago, but when I see that, it reminds me that I can do really hard things, and you can too. So if you're feeling any doubt, you can do it. Let's go back to the whiteboard and talk about plots. That's what you're here for. Creating a plot is a lot like framing a house. You gotta have a foundation, you gotta have walls, and you gotta have a roof. Without any of these ingredients, the whole thing's gonna fall apart, right? It won't stand up, you won't have shelter, all of that. And it's comprised of three main parts: a goal, motivation, and a conflict. It might seem like I'm going to really basic things, and I am for just a minute, because I have a twist to this that will make you see every movie, every book you read in a totally different way, and then you can apply it to your own book. So you have two plots going in your book. You have an external plot. That is the action plot. That's all the car chases and the shooting of the bad guy and going to get the kid that was kidnapped, all of that. This is the easy part to write because you're like, yeah, I'm just going to put it. And yes, I do have kind of this weird combination of a box of books and a laptop stand and my desk chair to hold this whiteboard up because I don't have an easel and I really wanted to just make this video. So forgive my handwriting, forgive my weird setup here. The external plot has a goal, motivation, and conflict, which is, the foundation of your book, right? The goal is the what. It's what the character wants. The motivation is the why or the because. I like to use because it makes a great sentence later. And I'll show you that in a second. And the conflict is all of the buts that get in the way. So we're going to use an example of Pretty Woman because it's a movie like almost everybody has seen. It has a pretty clear plot and it's very easy to see. And it can also explain to you what you might be doing wrong if you're writing a romance novel. We'll get to that in a second. In Pretty Woman, Edward's goal, his what, the whole reason that he's there in the first place is to buy that business from that old man. His motivation is because he's really good at this. Edward is a shark. I don't think I can draw a shark, but I can try. Okay, that's supposed to be Edward the shark. Edward is a shark, and he's good at this, and he makes a lot of money doing it. But this is all the things that get in the way of him buying the business. The old man doesn't want to sell. His son doesn't trust him. He needs a date to go to dinner. Stucky's in his face all the time telling him to do this or that. There's the Navy contracts, all that kind of stuff that is getting in the way of Edward buying the business. Now, you might think in Pretty Woman that Vivian is the plot, but she is not. The thing with a romance novel is that the romance is the complication. Vivian is a monkey wrench, I can't even write complication, thrown into the plot. The entire romance gets in the way of this, and we'll get to how in a second. When you write a romance novel, the falling in love part is never, ever, ever, ever the main plot. Did I say that enough times? Never, ever, ever. Think about that one friend you have who's like, I just want to fall in love and that will solve all my problems in life. And you're like, honey, maybe get a career, get a house of your own. You want your friend to have a fully developed life. Just falling in love is not a good goal. So Edward has a goal already going. He has an existing life. That's what they mean about a book taking place in media res. It means it's in the middle of their lives. Things are already going on. Falling in love is the worst possible thing that can happen to them. So that's how the external plot works. We also have an internal plot. The internal plot is all of the emotion. Boop. Again, all right, we might have to hold this. This is not going well. The internal plot is all of the emotion. It has the same things. It has a goal, motivation, and conflict, but it's all the stuff that takes place in here. We all have a lot of stuff in here that we are dealing with. We all have issues, whether that's with abandonment or trust or guilt or whatever you've got going on. Nobody gets into this life or leaves this life without some stuff going on inside here. And that's what makes us human. That's what makes for an interesting plot. That's what makes for characters that your reader can connect with. With Edward, his goal, his internal goal, is to be loved as he is, to be loved for himself, right? Most of us want that. We want to be loved for who we are. Everything in Edward's life has been about money. He's only been loved so far for his money and his success, if you think about it. Stucky is not there because he loves Edward. He is not there because he's Edward's friend. He is there because Edward makes him a lot of money. Nobody in Edward's life is there because they love the real Edward. Edward's own father, and this is what happens in the bathtub scene. He talks about his father really didn't love him like a father would love a son. It was all about transactions. And everything in Edward's world is transactional. To be loved as he is, though, and here's his conflict, he has to be vulnerable. But Edward is a shark. Sharks are never, ever vulnerable. Sharks never, ever expose that little white underbelly, because if they do, then they lose their advantage. They are never the ones that open up and say, oh, I've had a really bad shark day. That does not happen with a shark. And that does not happen with Edward. Why does that not happen with Edward? Because he can't buy these businesses and chop them up into tiny pieces and make a ton of money if he's vulnerable and if he cares. So his whole world has been about not being vulnerable. Everything in his life is about being the shark, not opening his heart. Vivian comes along and she is a complication because she makes him start opening his heart. Vivian is the only one that loves him as he is. Yeah, the jet's nice and the diamond necklace is nice and all that, but really, she loves him just as he is from the very beginning. She likes the money but doesn't care about the money. You can see that in the scene at the end where he offers her the money and the apartment and all that, and she turns it down because she loves him. She says, you have a lot of special gifts. And you know that she has seen the inside Edward. Here's where it gets super cool. And this is how you can change everything in your book. This is in direct opposition to that. Or in order for him to buy this business, to succeed at his goal, he can't be vulnerable. So to be loved as he is, which is what he really, really, really wants, he has to be vulnerable, but that will make him not succeed in buying the business. Stuckey tells him that 1,000,000 times. That creates a continual circle of conflict. And when you have a continual circle of conflict, you have a reader turning the pages to see how it works out because they're worried. Are they going to be okay? Is it going to work out? That's what you want. You want your readers to worry for your characters. And when this is in direct opposition to this, that's exactly what happens. Creating a plot that really engages the reader, doesn't get rejected, doesn't get 1-star reviews, is right here in having these two things be in direct opposition to each other. It forces the character to either choose to be loved as they are or to go after the goal. Now, you say, okay, so how do I solve that? Because I want my character to succeed. The way that you make this work out is you build a whole new house for the character. Edward opens up finally to Vivian. And when he does that, he has created a new normal for his future. He also goes to the old man and says, let's work together. Now, Stuckey loses his mind because Stuckey is only there for the money. But when Edward does that, he creates a new kind of goal for himself and a new kind of future. But he can't stay the same because if he stays the same, he will never achieve this. And that's what you see throughout that movie is Edward changing and growing as the movie progresses. So let me know in the comments if you like this whiteboard thing, even with the crappy handwriting and it basically falling apart every 5 seconds. Let me know if you like that visual demonstration of how these things work. And also, next time you sit down to read a book or watch a movie, I want you to figure this out. I want you to make a little list of these things. It will help you so much in understanding how books go together. And I want you to look for how the internal emotional thing that the character wants is in direct opposition and creates conflict for the external goal they're going after. Once you see it in every movie, every book you read, every play you go to, once you see it, you can apply it to your own book and you have unlocked the secret to a book that is amazing. If you want more on goal, motivation, and conflict and how it works and how to figure it out, I have a 6-part series on that breaks down every one of these. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to join me at a live stream where you can ask questions and we all write together. And I will see you on the other side of the page.